What? So, I've made a video about this in the past, but I feel like I've gained some new insight on this that I want to share with you. I think the thing which has changed in me the most in the last year is my mentality and my mindset when it comes to almost everything, but especially money. So I grew up quite poor, and my mindset towards poverty and growing up poor was, I didn't know this at the time, but I was living in a victim mindset. I assumed that how I grew up, there's nothing I could do about it. My parents didn't have much money. I grew up in a single parent household. All of these things, which, statistically are not good for your chances of making money. And I thought I was kind of screwed, like I didn't grow up in the perfect scenario. And so my immediate thought was, I'm a victim. Now I realize how much of a problem that is. It completely limits your vision of the future and really, really does nothing for you. There's no reason, there's no like use in thinking that you're a victim. It really does nothing. And so my struggle to climb out of this mindset, going through the phases of awareness, which we'll talk about in a moment, has allowed me to kind of climb out of Plato's cave, so to speak, and realize that everything in my life is my own responsibility. So we'll go into exactly what that is now. So I say that there are 3 levels to awareness. You can be aware and you can be unaware, but then there are 3 different levels of awareness. And you have to go through each stage, one at a time through the 3 stages. It's kind of similar to the 7 stages of grief or whatever. But we'll start. So level 0 is unconscious. You just go through life living the results, the consequences of other people's actions, and you never once question why you are in the scenario you are. So why you're poor, why things don't turn out for you well, why your health is bad, why you're overweight. Right? You never once consider it could be your parents, right? It could be the country you live in or whatever. So this is no good, right? Because you're not getting to the root of the problem. You're not understanding why it happened. And so you're stuck to repeat the cycle. And unfortunately, a lot of people are stuck at level 0 for a long time before they're able to fix the situation. Or maybe they will never fix it, right? And that's kind of sad. Maybe you're in level 0 right now and you don't know. And really take this opportunity to consider the things that you think are stuck in your life and think, okay, is there a reason, right? Surely there's a reason. You weren't born like that, right? So when you realize that you're a product of your upbringing, you graduate to level 1. Now, level 1 is where most people get stuck. So level 1 is resistance. And when you first realize that, I'm a product of my environment, you start to not like that. You start to feel bitter about that fact. And you'll probably take it out on your parents or whoever caused it, right? So in my case, I grew up with no money. So my first thought was like, how come I have no money? It's my parents' fault. They should have thought about that. They should have been better with money. They should have worked harder. They should have, right? So notice how I'm projecting my problem onto someone who I feel is responsible for me, my oppressor, right? I am the victim. And you can see a lot of this coming out in politics nowadays, which is very, very interesting. Certain people will claim that other people are their oppressors, and so there's nothing they can do about it, and they're victims, and they need to fight back against them, seek reparations or whatever, right? Instead of thinking about the present or the future, they think about the past. And that is very, very custom of a level 1 awareness. Now, hopefully, you will realize that the past is the past, and you can move on to level 2. Level 2 is acceptance. I was in acceptance for the better part of my life, really, the last few years at least. Acceptance is where you realize, okay, so my parents were poor and they had me and I didn't make the best financial decisions, but what could they have done? What could they have done differently that they didn't already do? You know, you realize that your parents are fallible. They're human beings. You know, society is imperfect. Our rulers, our politicians, as corrupt as they may be, are also human and prone to sin. And when you realize this, you learn to accept your place in the world. And yeah, it gives you a certain amount of peace. And this is okay. You know, a lot of people stop here. A lot of people stop at acceptance and they're like, okay, I come to terms with the fact that my parents didn't do the best job, but look at all the other things they did great. And I'm very thankful for that. And yeah, a lot of people just kind of learn to accept this, accept these parts of themselves. However, I think you can go deeper. I think you can go to level 3 in awareness, which is where I believe I'm entering into now. And that is a true sense of gratitude, right? If level 2 is acceptance and it's kind of neutrality, it's like, okay, I get it. Level 3 is gratitude. Not on the level of, you know, I'm thankful for the other stuff they did. No. You're misunderstanding. Gratitude, specifically that you were poor. Right? Understand me, listen close here. I am thankful that I grew up poor. Why? Many reasons. The first one being that I learned this lesson. If I didn't grow up poor, I wouldn't have known that there were levels of awareness. If I didn't grow up poor, I wouldn't have learned to value money so much and material objects. I probably wouldn't have spent so much time trying to earn money. My life wouldn't have turned out how it turned out if I didn't grow up poor. I grew up in a very kind of poorer, more multicultural area. I wouldn't have met the friends that I did. I wouldn't have known so much about different cultures, different languages. I probably would have never come to this country if I didn't grow up poor. Right? I only moved here because it's cheaper and, you know. So, do you see what I'm saying? Sometimes what you think are the bad things in your life that you want to blame other people for, not only could they have done no different, but they are the reason you are who you are. And the good things in your life are only because of the bad things that you have. So this is a extreme reframing of the situation. And the thing I love most about this is that you get to take control of the situation, right? So now I understand that because I grew up poor, it is now my responsibility to learn all the lessons to escape poverty and pass those on to future generations, to my future children. I know that my future children will be able to earn money because it's such a pain point in my life that I will make damn sure that I know. So if level 0 is being a slave, right? Being a peasant, a serf, stuck in the matrix. Level 1 is becoming self-aware, realizing that you are in the matrix, you are in the cave, right? But not knowing how to get out and being angry and frustrated. Level 2 is when you really start the climb and you start to understand and kind of maybe enjoy yourself a little bit in the cave or enjoy yourself in the matrix, you know, you teach yourself Kung Fu and you bend the spoon. But level 3 is when you become the chosen one. It's the path of the hero. It's the person who takes responsibility for their situation, regardless of whether it was their fault or not. And you use it as fuel to push yourself forward, to save your future children. I don't know about you, but I find this incredibly motivating. It's one of the points in my life this year which I'm most proud of for realizing and for really pushing forward with my goals. The sooner you accept responsibility for your situation, the sooner you can take control and really start to make a change. I hope you enjoy the content. Subscribe if you haven't already. Reject modernity. Embrace responsibility. I'll see you soon.